a pyro, and I needed to channel it into something healthy, so that my mom would be proud of me, and I wouldn't like set buildings on fire or anything like that. It was like a Reading Rainbow episode or something, some PBS special, and I saw it when I was a little kid, and immediately, said I want to do that.
What up, y'all? I'm Steve, and welcome to another exciting Elev8, where we sit down with some cool ass artists in this industry. First, we have this really cool ambassador program. You can join as an Elev8 doll or an Elev8 gent, and it's really awesome. You get to help us build Elev8. It's super unique, super special, and you're really a part of something special. Check out Elev8ambassador.com to learn more. Another cool thing we have is our Elev8 Veterans program. I'm really honored to be a part of it. Teresa helps run it, and it's super awesome. We get to rehabilitate and reacclimate veterans into society our way. And you know what? I think we're doing it right. Go check it out at Elev8veterans.com. Third, there's Elev8 Bingo. It's super cool, super fun, and we get to show you more of what we do. And on top of that, every game there's a chance to win $50 credits for Elev8glassgallery.com. Go check it out. And now, let's roll into this super awesome Elev8. Well, welcome to Elev8. We got Little Insignificant People here today, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to have you, man.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So my first question, as usual, man, is how did you get into this glass game? Because you got to be a little nuts to do it.
Well, excuse me. I've always been a pyro. And I needed to channel it into something healthy, so that my mom would be proud of me, and I wouldn't like set buildings on fire or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was like a Reading Rainbow episode or something, some PBS special, and I saw it when I was a little kid, and immediately, said I want to do that.
The glass blowing, you see that. And so I assume that was probably furnace work or soft glass.
Probably soft glass. I think it was if I recall correctly, it was Reading Rainbow, and he was doing like a tour of a Mexican like glass blowing facility where they were doing like cups and pitchers and like stuff like that.
And so from there, you kind of had it into you that was something you were going to do. And when did you get started into this then?
Almost 10 years ago. I started in like November of 2012. So approaching 10 years, like 9.5, I guess.
Right. And how old were you when you started that?
19.
19. So yeah, right out of high school, doing it, man. My hat's off to you, because they push you. You only need to do college. You need to do this thing, and then to actually be able to find your dreams and go after it, it's challenging.
It is. I love what I do. It's more of an addiction than a job, is what I say, but yeah, it can be rough. But at the same time, I, as long as I can keep up with what I make, I'm the master of my own destiny. I love that.
Absolutely. It's real life. You get what you put into it, and you also get the rewards. You get a special little Christmas every day. As going through, how did you get your glass name?
Well, my name is Philip, and I got bit by a dog when I was a kid on the lip, and it just goes to kind of a nickname that stuck.
Right on. So you got a nice little scar there on your face from it? Or?
I have to point it out to most people, but it's just like, I don't know, get up there, I don't know if you can see it.
And then over time they go away. I know I was slashed in high school, and I had a big old scar there, but yeah, it goes away. So
yeah. But then I was driving around, and I was trying to think of an acronym for it, and Little Insignificant People came to mind, which is the opposite of VIP, because there's a lot more LIPs than there are VIPs in the world, and so that's kind of where I try to make my glass not only approachable and durable, but at a good price, and make glass for the people.
Yeah. So I love how you did that. You put your name into it. You found the thing, and dude, that's pretty cool, man. I love it. Another thing on your creativity, So you mentioned the affordability and getting into that, and I see some artists, they only go down one path of like super artsy, but you're going down a path of like combining it to where it's affordable quality.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just it's what brought you into that path more of like, I don't know, just some kind of crazy rigs that are all filled with attachments and everything.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I appreciate the more scientific, clean aesthetic. I mean, having a bunch of attachments is super cool. Don't get me wrong. I love all the sculptural stuff, and like, but I just like to be able to I like daily drivers. I make smoky wear like that I would want to smoke out of. And I usually just make approachable things. I'm
And
gonna
your
try.
cupware too. It's very
Yeah.
usable and wonderful.
Oh, and I love designing drinkware. That's been a whole new side of my career. I thought, as long as it holds water, it works. But it's a lot of fun, having a nice lip and making sure it doesn't, glug in your face or making a glass that has enough room for the head of a beer. It's a lot of fun.
Right. And when you first look at a cup and whatnot, it seems, oh, it's just a cup. But you're right. You have all those other little challenges. Does it glug? Does it do this? Does it hold the right amount? Does it look good?
Hmm.
So many things. And everybody needs a glass. I truly believe like a drinking cup, I mean, without water or something to drink, you die. So
I mean, shout out to my mama, my grandma. She has a collection of my drinkware. She loves it.
hell yeah, man. And so the other thing about that is drinkware also becomes basically an heirloom. I mean, God forbid when she passes, those will get passed down to her
Yeah.
grandchildren and children, and that's what I think I love about glassware that you get to drink with.
Hmm. If you
Yeah.
take care of it, yeah, absolutely. I also love something I've been making in the vein of drinkware is like anniversary sets or wedding sets, for like toasting with champagne at a wedding and whatnot. And those are gonna stick around for a while. And that's super cool to me. Like
Right, you get to be a part of their day and enhance their special day, and then every anniversary probably enhance that day and be
right.
part of their.
I love it.
It is what a neat world to be a glass blower. Um, have you had any mentors growing throughout your growth in the last 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I had this guy. His name was Quincy Horn. He kind of like he teamed up in my parents' garage with me, and he taught me a whole lot, like right out the gate. And then YouTube and my buddy Kyle Edmondson and my brother Vince, and just like there's so many people in and out of the shop. Like
Hell yeah. When you make your cups, are those all hand spun, or are you using the lathe with those?
I use the lathe to make my drinkware.
Yeah, I agree. It helps out with well, you can do it with hand. It's those
Yeah.
lips. I don't know how you do it without a lathe.
Right, exactly. And getting a nice even wall weight. And I mean, like, shout out to the guys that can, all the Murano glass blowers that are doing like, all those crazy Venetian, like I absolutely admire that and strive for that kind of clean work, but I have the lathe, excuse me, I have the lathe, and it's a tool, at my disposal, and I choose to use it, and I love it.
Absolutely. I think anybody who once they get a lathe and can become comfortable with it will absolutely accept it as a good tool.
Absolutely.
It just
And
it helps.
I mean, it kicked my butt for a few years. That's for sure. Like learning how to use it and poring over YouTube videos and just like trying to figure out how to what to do with my hands.
Right, because it's a different ball game. You got to know the glass, the heat base, and all that stuff. Yet you don't get to touch it, and you don't get to use gravity as well. So
Right, right.
things are added and things are taken. Have you got to take any classes as well throughout your 10 years?
No formal classes or anything, just like tutorials from friends and guys passing through the shop. And I had a stint at a scientific shop that taught me a whole lot about like cold working and how to work with hydrogen and how to work with quartz and just a bunch of other cool stuff. So I would say class wise was the 2 years that I spent doing scientific work.
Right, and I love that you brought that up. I wish everything in life, we talk more about apprenticeships and things like that. Like you can go learn these beautiful things hands-on, whether it be glass blowing or electrician or even a doctor or
Right.
no, that's really neat, man. Where do you get your inspiration from in all your wares?
Other artists, like I mean, some people might call it biting, but I love watching other people's techniques grow and metamorphosize, and if they can make me say, how did you do that, that even better, but I love being able to pick something up and kind of dissect and like, oh, they flipped it around here and they did that inside out over there, and like I just love it, like mostly other artists. Like
it's that kind of competition, yet also knowing like the puzzle, I guess, maybe.
Right. And then, like glass is that canvas that can shatter, on your final brushstroke. So it's like, how did you do that? There's so much work in that, like.
Right. It's nuts what some of these people do, or even every time you take your limit to the next thing, it's your limit. Absolutely. And it's whether it's banjo, I know that's hard to get to that crazy limit, but your limit is that limit, and it's stressful, it's butt clenching, and it's the reward is amazing though the next day, right?
Oh yeah, the head rush from the art, you just being able to, like you said, it's a Christmas every day when you get to pull those kiln treasures out, analyze your work and, oh, I can do better, like.
And sometimes you get those little almost chunks of coal where you have to pull it out of the water bowl to figure out and analyze it there.
Absolutely.
And that's why I say, being a glass blower is crazy, because I'm sure your first years, it was an easy thing. You don't have the quality there, so shops are turning you away. It's a challenge, and if you don't have the people there to help grow you fast enough, like there's another challenge there. What do you find has been the most difficult thing throughout your 10 years as becoming a successful glass blower?
Oh, just getting noticed, and trying to grow with all the different social media, growth and restrictions, and stuff like that. And, just, I'm not used to the whole, like, hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. I just want to make pretty things. And then I've had to learn to be a promoter and a photographer and like I had to wear so many hats just to get my work on my webpage or on a social media website or something like that. So it's been interesting that I can't just like wake up and stomp into my shoes and go blow glass and like make people care about it. I have to like
you have to promote, you have to do it on social, you got to go to shops, you got to get out. And I think you bring that up. That's part of life, being any entrepreneur. And that's what's so hard about an artist, because they want to put everything into their passion and love. And then so when it goes to the marketing, which you're doing a great job with your photography, but a lot of times that just gets left because it's not your passion, and it's hard.
I mean, you gotta learn how to make, you got like a little bit of everything. It has to be your passion, so like photography, especially, like it took me a long time to get a website built because I didn't want to sit down and photograph all my glass because I sucked at it, and I still kind of think I suck at it, so thank you for the compliment. But you're like, and I've actually talked to other professional photographers that are like, oh, glass photography is super hard because you have
it's the hardest.
you have glare and the way that, like, glass absorbs light or reflects it, and if it's clear glass or colored glass. So, and then you have CFL glass and UV glass, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a never-ending battle. So I'm sure, like you said, you're probably also the critic, your worst enemy there, which produces you to get better and better and better. And obviously shows in all your work. It's beautiful stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have you had any periods in your career where you made like huge transitions? For instance, maybe when you went into the cup thing, where first maybe you were a piper, or has it just been a free flow?
I mean, there's, I think, a combination of both. Like I feel like I've just kind of been like fumbling and stumbling and trying to find a style, But I feel like recently, like I've been analyzing my career now that I'm approaching the 10-year mark, and I'm asking myself, like, is this where I want to be? Where do I want to go? And I know that I want to, of course, stay, blowing glass and whatnot. It's what I love doing, and I see myself doing it until I can't. But now I'm like, I want to go harder. I want to make more headies. Maybe apply some of my scientific work and make something a little bit less approachable. With more attachments or in more encased opals or something like that. Like
there it is, pushing your skill set. You just seem like you want to just keep growth, keep in your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Where do you get all your inspiration and creativity from in your work?
Well, I live in a very beautiful spot, so I can just walk out my door and be on a beautiful gold medal water fishing river or go on a hike, and I mean, Colorado is full of inspiration, and so I just go for a walk.
Where in Colorado are you located?
Glenwood Springs.
Oh yeah, that's you got a nice pad there, man. That's a nice place.
Yeah. I absolutely love it here. It's springtime, so it's like everything's blooming and there's wildflowers everywhere and like, oh.
Do you so that's a question about your environment. Do you smell the sulfur in your area there? Because I know when I drive through there, it's pungent.
Just when you first drive through, because that's like where they have the I don't know how they get rid of it or how they scrub it. But the facility that does it is like right when you pull into town, it's right there. So you get a big fat whiff of it. But no, I don't smell anything in my house.
Right. That's so neat, man. It's one of those neat things about Glenwood Springs. It's a neat place.
It's an amazing spot. I really do love it.
How did you end up there in Glenwood Springs? Have you been there your whole life then, or?
Oh no, I spent most of my time in Denver. I grew up in a little farm, like in southeast Colorado in Franktown, and then grew a majority of my career in Denver, like in South Denver, and then had this bizarre opportunity to kind of move up here for basically what I was paying to live in Denver, rent wise, during the pandemic, and just kind of sprung on it, and been here since.
Oh, I bet that's a great move, being away. Like maybe people loved all the too many people, but yeah, forget them or like
right. I mean, it's some people are like, oh my gosh, you have to drive 2.5 hours to and fro from Denver, but I mean, I appreciate the time with my thoughts, and I do like there's no traffic up here, and I can run errands and do everything very fluidly, and I really appreciate that.
Hell yeah. What's your favorite items to blow?
I mean, I love drinkware. One of my favorite things is making Sherlocks. But anything complicated, I love complicated recyclers. Anything with multiple wall seals. Like fab stuff. I love when you're holding a piece and they're like, how'd they get the perk in there? That kind of stuff.
I still wonder that every day. It's how did they get that in there? How did it stay straight? And
yeah, how did it stay straight?
so you like the challenge. It's just the challenge of just competing with yourself, trying to outdo yourself, probably.
Absolutely. I spent a lot of time in high school swimming, and like you're on a swim team, but it's really you're swimming against yourself and you're competing against yourself, and I've definitely transferred that into my professional career.
Nice, man. Nice. What is your favorite color to use?
Oof. I mean, all the expensive ones that are hard to get.
And they are beautiful.
Right. I love purple. So like the new Stargazer from North Star has been one of my favorites. If I can get my hands on any royal jelly, that's awesome. But I think I melted like 4 sticks of it ever total.
Then you should check out Greasy Glass Transparent Gold Ruby, it might be called. It's a really sexy purple, and it's affordable.
Okay, cool. Somebody was telling me that they also had a Mediterranean, like some like Mediterranean-esque color that was more workable, and I was like,
I absolutely have fallen in love with Greasy Glass. It's the guy's doing a great job.
Cool. Hell yeah, I'll check it out. Shout out to Greasy.
Yeah, I didn't mean to go there. I just the purples and what they've come with is it's just beautiful, and like you, the purples. I mean, who doesn't love purple, right? Like,
But other than that, like I love vibrant colors, mostly semi-transparents, like I didn't really develop a hand for cadmiums, but I do love, a well-worked cadmium. But I usually stick to striking colors, semi-transparents. But like my favorite's just like those poppin' purples, carmeline,
Yeah, yeah. What color do you want to stay away from that you're just not going to use in your work?
Oh, opaline. I still have like maybe a pound of
Ooh.
it all bundled up with like a big red rubber band around
I
it.
remember when that came out, it was like fucking A, like this is garbage.
I don't know. Maybe I'll facet it and like put it in some jewelry or something like that. I don't know.
Because by itself, it might be fine, I guess. I don't know.
I don't. Like I said, I got a little rubber band bundle of it that it's just.
Yeah. Do you get to collaborate often?
I try to, yeah. Mostly just good friends. Shout out to Raya Glass. He does great work with the crystals, and him and I toss rigs and Sherlocks back and forth. KRA Glass, my buddy Kyle, he does amazing fume work and has helped me a lot with my silver fume, like a lot. Yeah, those are like my two like homeboys. But yeah, other than that, no, like, I try to toss out prep work whenever I go to like shows or conventions and whatnot, be like, hey, my name's Lip, here's a piece of fume or a piece of dichro or, like something like that, kind of get
Nice.
the ball going. But, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, if you don't ask and you don't put yourself out there, like you were saying earlier, that's one of the things you have to keep doing. You got to keep promoting yourself because nobody really gives a fuck about you in this world other than you. And so
For real.
sucks, right? What's the most amount of time that you've ever put into a piece and was it successful?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know. Analytic, like I maybe a few days. But yeah, I mean, like I make and sell work so quickly, it's hard to be like, yeah, like that one piece I spent 16 hours on, honestly don't know.
Right on. So, but you've put days into pieces then, and I'm sure towards the end of that piece, man, it's like the rush is there for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do remember a weekend with Raya that we he had a whole bunch of crystals faceted, and I was just cranking rigs on the lathe and handing them off to him, and we spent like probably a full 36 hours on the torches, over the weekend, and slept, ate melted glass, and then by the end of it, we had the whole scut full of just like heat. It was awesome. It was a ton of fun. But we had a lot of pieces. There was no one piece that took an incredible amount of time,
Well,
because we had
also maybe that's it. It was a team project, and that's
yeah.
pretty neat, and that's a good point. Maybe it's not just a piece, but it's a project or something like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, definitely that like bender of a weekend where we just like cranked out some heat. It was awesome. It was a ton of fun.
Do you enjoy working with somebody at that level? Does it help push you push your skills maybe?
Oh yeah, you always find myself trying to stay off my phone or putting my phone away, like if I'm working alone, because that's the biggest distraction. But when you got somebody else in the room and you can, toss music suggestions back and forth or techniques or, just stuff like that, it keeps you blowing louder and keeps you in the garage and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, like
Yeah, both people are almost passing out.
right, instead of just getting stoned alone and being like, oh, I'm gonna wander inside and make some munchies and then boom, it's 2 hours of your day that you could have been melting, so mitigating distraction while I work alone is probably one of like my biggest jobs, but when I have somebody here, it's nice, keeps me focused and keeps the flow going. And
It's almost that competition again. It's two people like, I ain't gonna quit because he's not quitting, right?
right, exactly.
Have you ever competed in any events or been to any like competitions or anything?
No, just like live glass blowing events for like concerts or events or stuff like that, but no competitions.
Right on. Do you ever plan to do that, or do you? Because you do like the competition. mostly with yourself, but
I do. I was hoping to turn in a goblet that I had made into this last show in Vegas, but I didn't actually get to the show in time to get my goblet turned in. But other than that, like, I would love to do, some sort of time competition or anything like that. It's just like, I don't know, like I'm not popular enough, so it's just like,
ah,
who wants to watch me blow glass right now? Nobody. Like,
well, they all think that until they get in there, So you remind me of a typical glass blower where you're not feeling it, but dude, you're feeling it, man. It's good stuff. But hell yeah. Do you have any or do you use cannabis, I guess is the question.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you
We usually use concentrates. I love making dab rigs and stuff like that. But I love rolling joints. That's one of my I used to smoke cigarettes and I don't do that anymore, but I still love the good old hippie speedball, a cup of coffee and a joint. Ugh.
right, and it's just something, I guess maybe that's also you're smoking, but that's probably how you started smoking cannabis, was a joint, and it get to be a kid again, right?
It was actually the first time I smoked. It was an apple. I smoked out of an apple in the backseat of my buddy's Civic.
Nice, man. Have you got to smoke out of an apple since, or have you made a glass apple to smoke out of yet?
I have not made a glass apple, but I have been in a pinch where I didn't have papers. I had a lighter and I had some weed, and I went to the grocery store and bought an apple. Classic.
Hell yeah, I love it, man. Do you have any hobbies outside of glass?
Currently, no. Glass kind of consumes my life. I kind of switched to more of a quota-based system, so I try and wake up and hit my quota, and then hang out with my dog. And it's better than punching in and punching out. But I'm currently trying to dig myself out of some financial trouble. So it's like, got to lean into the suck. And so I'm just waking up and hitting the numbers, and I'll figure out a hobby later.
Oh yeah, no pressure, no diamonds. And sometimes I ask that, and I agree. I don't have any real hobbies outside of glass, and vacation, that's one thing, and all these ways of living life that they tell you have to live. Right. I think if you're doing what you love, you're not doing bad.
Right, exactly. Like I said, there's a lot, and I've had some crappy jobs, but I working for myself is, albeit sometimes stressful, but I love it. It's great, like I said, I'm not really built to punch in and punch out for somebody else unless I'm getting paid a lot.
Right.
And that's never been the case. I've always made more money from on my own.
It's not easy, but it's definitely a neat way of life to be your own boss, be your own pusher, and all that neat stuff.
Absolutely, your own cheerleader most of the time, it seems like.
I remember it was 18 years ago, so it was like, all you do is wear your shirt. And I'm like, because nobody fucking else does, so what am I gonna do? Plus they're cheap. What can we look forward to in the future from you?
More artwork. Like I said, I have this kind of new gig where I can just hit the numbers and do the quota thing, and then hopefully that will keep me afloat and pay my bills, and I'll actually be able to spend some time and not rush through my artwork, which I feel like I do most of the time. I get these orders and try to get them to people as quickly as I can, and I'm just tired of rushing. So I want to take more time and make better stuff, more artwork. Yeah, and I just don't know right now what that's going to be.
and I think you'll just figure it out, and then I'm excited to see it, that's for sure.
Thank you.
And then do you still find that you have the same love and passion for glass today as when you first started?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's definitely metamorphosized, and there's never, I don't think I've ever had a true oh my gosh, why do I do this? I'm gonna quit, But there has been everyone has those dark days where it's just like, why do I do this to myself? I could have had I could have picked a much steadier field or something like that. But no, I absolutely love it. It consumes my whole life. I don't even have any other hobbies right now, and I'm not upset about it.
Right.
I absolutely love it.
Dude, I wish, I think the whole world would be a lot better that if you could just find something that you'd love to do, even though it's a
Absolutely.
challenge, but you get to do it. I couldn't imagine whatever you do, doctor,
Mhm.
lawyer, vet, if you didn't like it. Where's the best place to give you a follow and check your stuff out? You said you have a website?
Yeah, just 303lipglass.com. Yeah, my Instagram handle is a bit of a mouthful, but it does stick in your head. It's Little Insignificant People, all spelled out.
Yes, very easy to remember.
Yeah, like I said, it's a bit of a mouthful, and my handle's like this long on the screen, but you definitely know it's me when I post. So.
Yeah. Well, Little Insignificant People, I really, really, really appreciate your time today. Is there anything else you wanted to add, or did I miss anything?
No, just I hope everyone out there is being kind and is happy and healthy and being good.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thanks a lot for joining us. This was a super pleasure for me to get to spend some time here with you and get to learn a little bit more about you, man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Well, peace out, brother.
All right, peace out.